Welcome back to GoldSeek TV. I'm joined here today with the president of New Pacific Metals, Andrew Williams. Thank you for joining us on a very big news day.
Pleasure to be here, Peter. Happy to be on your show.
Well, it's exciting to have you on today because you've released some very big news, the first inaugural estimate for Carangas. But it's not just a milestone that you've released some mineralized resource estimate, but it's significant in size. So if you could share with us the overall, the highlights of this exciting, huge, several 100 million ounces of silver equivalent ounces resource estimate.
Sure. Yeah. No, thank you, Peter. I mean, this has been not something that just came about overnight. It was been a long exploration process over the last 2 years. We've drilled over 80,000 meters of core in 189 holes, and that's culminated in this resource estimate of 560 million ounces of silver equivalent indicated resource, with another 110 million ounces of inferred, which is all right near surface, open pittable at a very competitive strip ratio of approximately 1.8 for the entire resource. So we're very pleased with how these numbers have come up, and are very excited for what this means for the future of us at Carangas in Bolivia for New Pacific.
Well, these are numbers that many companies would be excited to have, and this is your second big discovery for New Pacific Metals. So this deposit, when we spoke back in the spring in Zurich, you were going through this 189 hole drill program, and with this first mineralized resource estimate, I mean, it must be meeting, and if not exceeding, the expectations that you were thinking about back then. How do you see today's news as? How does that look to the company, and what will be the next steps after this? I guess you'll be moving towards feasibility studies and economic studies on the project.
Yeah, so I think as far as the resource goes, we stopped drilling in April. We were able to successfully extend especially the silver dominant mineralized horizon near surface. But what I love about Carangas is the fact that it's big, it's disseminated, and from a geological perspective, from a grade continuity perspective, relatively uncontroversial. And so when it comes to taking all that drill data and putting it into a model that was ultimately prepared and validated by our independent QP, the numbers, they shook out kind of roughly aligned with where we were expecting, which is a really good thing. I think it underscores from a relatively low technical risk perspective, this bulk disseminated resource as opposed to something that's narrow nuggety and high grade vein type system. So we love that about Carangas, and the way the numbers shook out from the drilling was very close to what we were expecting initially, which is a testament to the quality of the deposit. And so, okay, this is resource. Your question, what's the next step? Well, I think for us, our next major milestone will be a PEA study that we're targeting for the first half of next year. Our stretch target is to get it done by the end of the first quarter of next year. And then feeding into the PEA study, we're going to do a lot more metallurgical test work. It's a huge system at Carangas. It's polymetallic, and exactly what the best way is to maximize the value of this large mineral endowment from a metallurgical perspective. Do we produce dorés? Do we produce concentrates? How big is it? How do we sequence it? How do we blend it? A lot more data is required, and so we're going to embark on a fairly comprehensive program here over the near term. But really, the PEA study is going to be the big next milestone for us at Carangas, and we're expecting that by the first quarter of next year.
Excellent. And most of this initial maiden resource is in the indicated category, not just in the inferred, which is more typical to get other resource estimates I've seen in the past. So this is a testament to all the work, the years of drilling that you have done to really to define this deposit with the potential to continue to grow the gold system at depth, which in the news today talks about it doubling in size and mirroring kind of what you already have existing at depth there. So if you could talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, I think it's an important point that you picked up on. You clearly read the news release carefully, so thank you. But the existing gold zone, yeah, it continues for well below the way we defined the existing pit shell. And unfortunately, we got into a situation where we couldn't reasonably extend the pit any further below, where we terminated it for this resource estimate, which I think was around 550, 600 meters depth. But the gold doesn't stop, as you mentioned. You could potentially, add another gold zone beneath that. The question that we have to do, and the reason why part of the analysis we'll be conducting for the PEA study is to look at potential underground mining scenarios. And if we run that underground area at a higher cutoff grade, let's say, for example, can we raise the grade sufficiently to enable a bulk underground mining scenario, whether it's a sub-level caving or a block caving type scenario? There's certainly a lot of potential there. Or, I mean, the beauty of it is if we're in a much more favorable gold price horizon, years from now, we could potentially take another cutback on the open pit and even do it that way. So there's a huge amount of optionality from both a mine design as well as a metal price perspective on all that gold material beneath the pit that didn't make it into the resource today.
Okay, and just as a reminder, and you mentioned this earlier, the deposit is defined with a near surface, at surface silver zone. Then in the middle, it appears to be more lead, zinc, base metals, and then a gold zone. So the silver is laying just right there at the top. That's which is quite a large deposit as well. So this is a very nice gold silver deposit with some base metals in there.
Yeah, no, it's fantastic. We love the fact that it's polymetallic. We love the fact that there's a large gold endowment. Very different beast than our other major deposit, which is just pure silver at Silver Sand.
Excellent. So there's a lot to this news, and I noticed the company we'll be hosting a webinar to go more in depth in today's news. So if you could share a little bit more about tomorrow's webinar and how investors or those interested may join and get to know, get some more details.
Thank you for that. So we are hosting our webinar tomorrow, September the 6th at 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 o'clock Eastern, and we'll have some more folks from our technical team available on that call for during the presentation, as well as question and answer. And the full details, the link to that webinar they can be found in our press release that we put out today. So I refer to that press release. It's near the bottom. There's some additional details there. That's where you can find the link. And the more the merrier. I'd love for people to join the webcast and be engaged. We're really excited about it, and the more folks that we can tell the story to and hear their thoughts and questions, the better.
I think it's a story that a lot of investors are not paying attention to, and it's a pretty eye-opening number today. So I think more investors are going to start to notice what's happening down there on top of your other big project at Silver Sands. So congratulations on today's big news. I look forward to joining the webinar tomorrow to learn more about the mineralized estimate, and we'll look forward to following up soon, and we can kind of dig more into your third property as well, and Silver Sands, and talk about all the different assets involved in this company. So thank you, Andrew, and congratulations again on the big news and taking time to share it with us.
Thanks, Peter. It's a pleasure catching up.